Okay, here is my little paper that I've written out. It's about law, right to fair trial, right to an attorney depending, right to unalienable rights of life, right to life property, pursuit of happiness, right to appeal and petition the court, right to challenge evidence. Right to form a militia depends on things that is very formal. Right to protest, publish, many freedoms of speech, right to challenge law, right to restitution, right of process, burden of proof is an expense to everyone. Then you get into the government practices, the medical practices, and any kind of legal entity, public, private, whatever. It's an extreme science. So there's a lot of people working in the effort of law, and law pretty well encapsulates pretty much everything on the earth and outside of the earth, and in the earth and around the earth, and what people do and the devices of pretty much everything. That's law. So you can call me a bit of a lawyer. I may not be official, but I definitely know law. So there are cases where law um, must understand that it has failed. Maybe we all make mistakes, okay? And there's different reasons to restitute for those mistakes. But the problem is people lose their lives for these mistakes. And you cannot you cannot cause people to lose their lives mistakes. Um, Here's what I wrote. I said I did not have a fair judgment or trial in regards to my diagnosis or court-ordered medical therapy. I do not believe the science for psychology, psychiatry, medicine, or even the laws pertaining to it are valid in many cases of mimic diseases and problems. I believe the government is doing wrong. Now, what that means is like if you think about the children of today and what they do in high school, I think it should be a requirement to understand civics and law in high school. I think that we would have a much more secure um, group of people if they were to understand laws. And they need to be taught before they become rebellious, before they start forming different opinions, or before they develop a mental illness or whatever. I think law and civics is a requirement. And the branches of government are taught. You do understand that aspect. And here it is. It pertains to your rights and what you're allowed to do, and it all pertains to right and wrong. But you need to know how to fight against ulterior uh, events where people try to cover up crimes by making them extremely sophisticated or removing evidence. In some ways, government is doing this today, and the internet is a big part of that. So, they want to track people. Basically, everybody's on probation. And not only that, um, there's a lot to everything that goes on. You need to know how to raise your kids in this law system. You can't just teach them to be outlaws. I promise you that's not a good thing for anyone. But, at some point, rebellion could be necessary. But in many, many, and most cases, if not very many, most cases, rebellion is not necessarily what you need to do. There were many rebellious people in history, and sometimes history has to be taught in a different perspective than what it really was at that time. Because you do not want to go through the things that they went through in the learning process. So we're still doing that today. We're still not perfect people. This is not a perfect system. And there are people that lie to cover up things, and there are people that are actually committing crimes within the system to illegally punish or hurt other people or harm other